Welcome everybody to the Plex in Irmo, South Carolina. We have the South Carolina Gamecocks at 11-1, facing off against the Tennessee Ice Volunteers at 7-5. And something looks a little different on the ice here today, Spencer.
And it's got to be these new Cock hockey jerseys. They pulled out the all-black uniforms with the garnet trim and numbers, and let me tell you, they are beautiful.
Absolutely. Moving on here, the Gamecocks' recent games, of course, that electric game against Clemson, winning 5-4, and then sweeping Vanderbilt 4-2 and 9-1, looking ahead for them. We also play Tennessee on Sunday, and then a couple more games. First, Florida Atlantic to close out this semester.
Yeah, and some things to note about the Gamecocks, at least in last week's game especially, they're very physical. It's hard to tell if it was just the Clemson matchup because, you know, bad blood between those teams going to play physical. But the offense also seemed to function a lot better when they took the time to make an extra pass, make the goalie work for it a little bit more. And currently, the Gamecocks are second in the College Hockey South standings.
Absolutely, looking to see if they'll be physical again tonight or if it was just that bad blood in the rivalry. Shifting over to the other side of the ice here, the Tennessee Volunteers lost at Kennesaw State 7-6, beat Middle Tennessee before that 9-4, and then lost versus Georgia, who the Gamecocks beat earlier, 6-0. For ahead, they, of course, play us on Sunday, as we said, when the Gamecock schedule was talked about, and then they are at home versus High Point to round out their semester.
Yeah, and to point out some things, especially in that Kennesaw State game, they did lose 7-6, but putting 6 goals on the scoreboard is still something to be talked about. Nick Carline led the team with 2 goals in their game, and they had 4 other goal scorers, each putting 1 in the back of the net. But they are 12th in the CHS South standings, so they are a bit of ways down the leaderboard, as the Gamecocks are sitting as one of the best teams in that division.
Gamecocks looking to continue their streak here, only splitting a series with Georgia Tech as their only loss. We will bring you puck drop shortly. I am Tommy Cooper here with Spencer Ball, and the game will come up next.
for tonight's CHS and CHF game between the visiting Tennessee Volunteers and your South Carolina Gamecocks. We're going to start tonight off with these starting lineups. First, for the visitors, the Tennessee Volunteers. Up forward, number 7, Adam Carter. Up forward, number 17, Drew Kidd. Up forward, number 91, Nick Carline. Number 15, number 18, Kenneth Richter. The other defenseman, number 20, Shane Kokoska. And in goal for the Volunteers, number 30, Brandon Shaw. And now, the second line for your favorite high school, walking in new black jersey, your South Carolina. Number 16, a sophomore from West Palm, New Jersey, Jack Santor. Up forward, number 24, a sophomore from Charleston, South Carolina, Brody Up forward, number 12, a sophomore from West Denver, New Jersey, Connor Bird. A defenseman, number 15, a junior from Wyndon, New Hampshire, Bobby DeChico. The other defenseman, number 5, a sophomore from Marshfield, Massachusetts, Sean Reed. And in goal tonight for the game, Brooke Wall, number 35, a sophomore from Edenbury, Minnesota. And now, will everyone please rise and remove your hats for tonight's playing of the Star Spangled Banner.
Welcome back to the Plex as the sandstorm goes, and this crowd is hype. Sold out crowd here again tonight.
And the Gamecocks are wearing the black uniforms, and the fans followed suit. We've got a blackout here at the Plex, and as you just mentioned, the fans are here, sold out in just under 3 minutes, and they are loud.
Getting going here early with Santoro on the face-off, but the Volunteers win that one, putting it up in their zone. Passing it around to the other side, back and forth now. Berman, closest one there with Smojice. All the way up to the Gamecocks defensive zone. No icing there. Up and around to Chico in coverage. Now Lawrence closer. Up and around to Berman, whose name we did not call last week at all. Back in the lineup now. A mistake there by the Gamecocks, but a good save there by Zach Hayes, the sophomore. Up into the neutral zone, never kept in, but now put in the neutral zone by the Gamecocks. Up and around behind Hayes. Reed, the first one there, bringing it up for the Gamecocks now. Tennessee puts it back in the Gamecock zone. Sean Reed able to put that up for his teammate Santoro. Back to Reed again. Reed and Berman working on it. A line change here for the Gamecocks. The puck goes off the pads of Zach Hayes now. To the left of Hayes, the Volunteers have it. Leaving it for their teammate, but the Gamecocks get there first. Owen Thomas now. Not able to get there before the Volunteers all the way back on the Volunteers' defensive side. Bolger with the puck. Tennessee wins it back. Bolger fighting for it, ending up on the ice. Owen Thomas there too. Flaherty back defensively for the Gamecocks, along with number 21, Zach List. Behind Hayes is Flaherty. Flaherty brings it up. Flaherty into the neutral zone. Flaherty with some speed into the Tennessee zone, trying to make a move but not able to do so. Gets the puck back behind the goal. Put in the center, a bit too hard for Thomas. Stoppage of play there by the referees.
And as you mentioned, today we've got Zach Hayes in goal. Last week against the Clemson Tigers, it was Liam Gormley, who did have some great saves in that game. But from what we've seen from Zach Hayes so far this year, he's a real deal.
Absolutely. Hayes, a very talented sophomore from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. And here we have our South Carolina's first power play of the night with 18 minutes and 14 seconds left. And after a bit of a choppy first 2 minutes, the Gamecocks go up a man.
Definitely, and we saw him last week play more on the defensive as they committed more penalties than Clemson did last week. But when they were on the power play, it just takes this offense to a new level.
Absolutely. The penalty kill from last week, something that the Gamecocks need to work on. Clemson getting majority of their goals there. Looking for a shot is Flaherty. Flaherty the backhanded shot across the face of Shaw. List has it now. Passes it to a Volunteer. Volunteers now on the counterattack, a 2-on-1. Good stick poke by Flaherty. Corralled by List. Up to Thomas, who leaves it off for Albers. Sorry, that's Greeley. Greeley tripped there, it looked like, but no call there. Flaherty keeps it. Puts it across the entirety of the ice. And the Volunteers get that puck. Volunteer ahead, but not able to corral that one. And Bolger able to get back defensively for the Gamecocks. Bolger behind Hayes, moving up into the neutral zone now. Bolger with room to work. Leaving it off for Greeley, who gives it up one more for Bolger. Bolger making a move. Shot not able to get to the net, but Gamecocks get the rebound. Moving around in front of Shaw. Puck in the neutral zone now. Gamecocks close by. Nice hit against the glass by the freshman K.
We've seen K be one of the more physical players. Every time he touches the ice, he's going for that big play. And we even saw him score a goal last week, which is great for him.
Absolutely a great goal at that. Gamecocks have 40 seconds left on this power play. Putting it up and around behind Shaw. Puskar there, as well as K. Puskar looking for a pass. Putting it off the glass to Reed. Back to Puskar. Puskar to K. K across face and missed there by Tommy Locken, the freshman, but a good opportunity for the Gamecocks. Able to get the rebound is Puskar. Puskar to the top to DeChico. Puskar with a one-timer off the pad of Shaw. Reed able to get that one, but that is sent all the way back to Hayes. Hayes sending it back into the neutral zone, and Puskar has room to work. Puskar leaving the puck, but DeChico gets it, and off of Shaw.
Volunteers make the kill. We are back to even
Volunteers
strength.
are back at even strength, and they're on the offensive now. Hayes coming out, and a good play by Hayes coming out of his square. And that looks like that'll be a stoppage of time by the referees, and a good play by Hayes there.
And Hayes made two really nice back-to-back plays. That pass up the ice to Puskar almost led to a goal there, but some good defending by the Volunteers to recover.
Absolutely a back-and-forth game here so far with 15 minutes and 57 seconds left in this opening period. The face-off after the icing call will come to the right of Hayes.
Haven't seen the Volunteers on the attack much tonight. We'll see what they can do as they start a lot closer.
Lawrence on that face-off, but the Volunteers get that one. A quick shot by the Volunteers off the pad of the Gamecock Lawrence. Lawrence putting it up in the neutral zone. Wilkins trying to make a move, but not able to do so. All the way back to Hayes. Hayes gives it off to Mulkieran. Mulkieran up in the neutral zone. Lindstad puts that across for Wilkins. The Tennessee Volunteers get that. Good defensive play by the Gamecocks in the offensive zone, but not able to capitalize. Riccitelli the first one there for the Gamecocks. Riccitelli tried to get it all the way up to his teammate in the neutral zone, but not able to do so. The Volunteers put that one up and around behind Hayes, and Mulkieran's the first one there, slowing it down for the Gamecocks. Mulkieran bringing it up himself. Off the glass to Lawrence. One more, and Owen Thomas was up there, but he tripped, and that looked like that'll be a delayed penalty, and now will be called on the Volunteers, and the Gamecocks will get their second power play early on.
Yeah, and it's definitely key to keep these power plays coming in for either team. They're just so beneficial. And
Fans are happy about that one.
oh, definitely. You can really hear them tonight. They really showed out.
Power play for the Gamecocks. Their five is looking like Bolger, Thomas, List, Flaherty, and the fifth one over on the right side of that face-off mark.
Speaking of Owen Thomas a little bit, he had 2 goals last week, almost secured the hat trick, but just a great performance by the veteran leader of this team.
Absolutely, he capitalized on his opportunities, having a couple one-on-one slap shot opportunities and scoring them both to put the Gamecocks up multiple times. That's a 4-minute power play for the Gamecocks here, as Flaherty has the puck, trying to make a move, but not able to do so, as List gets knocked to the ground, and Flaherty goes all the way back to the defensive zone.
I believe that's the first 4-minute power play we've seen so far this year at the Plex.
Absolutely. I believe so as well, as Bolger brings it up into the neutral zone. Hit against the glass, but able to get it off to his teammate Thomas. 2 goals last week for Thomas, bringing it up and around to the left of Shaw. Fighting for possession and giving it off to Greeley. Greeley up to Flaherty. Flaherty one more to List. List all the way across. Good puck movement here by the Gamecocks. Greeley fighting for the puck now behind Shaw. Bolger there to assist as well. Bolger and Thomas now fighting for the puck. Thomas puts the Volunteer against the glass. Bolger gets the puck and leaves it for his teammate behind Shaw. He gets it back. Across the face of Shaw, and that's going out of play off the pad of Shaw.
Goes out of play.
Yeah, and some nice passing there from the Gamecocks trying to get an open shot, but the Volunteers answered well and have knocked off the first minute of this power play.
Absolutely, 2 minutes and 53 seconds left in the power play and 13 minutes and 48 seconds left in this first period. And with a 4-minute power play, the Gamecocks have to capitalize.
Definitely, it's hard enough to defend for 2, but when you make it 4, the Gamecocks, as you mentioned, they have to put one in the goal.
Absolutely, the Volunteers clearing that one all the way back to Hayes, as 3 Gamecocks come back and only 1 Volunteer pushes up. DeChico off to his teammate in the neutral zone. Reed has it now. Reed with a nice move to change direction. Moving into the neutral zone. Across the ice to Locken, but Reed gets it back. Reed up and around the glass behind Shaw to the freshman Kay. Kay with a nice one-tap, but not able to capitalize as that goes off the glove of a Volunteer. In the neutral zone again is Reed. Reed puts it up and around the glass again. K backed off this time. High by the Volunteers. Reed able to corral that one. Across the ice, K to Locken. The freshman connecting there, but not able to do anything with it.
Something to point out, last week we saw both teams kind of start a lot slower in the first period, and then in the second is when we just saw an explosion of goals. So we'll see if that trend continues tonight.
Absolutely, as Puskar gets it for the Gamecocks in the neutral zone, pushing the Volunteers back. Across the ice for DeChico. The Volunteers puts it up and around, out of the zone, so the Gamecocks need to recollect themselves as to not get offsides. Nice pass through the zone, but it'll be an icing, as it will be from defensive zone to defensive zone. 1 minute and 20 left on the power play and 12 minutes and 15 seconds left in this game.
Yeah, and the last 2 minutes or minute and a half we've seen of the power play haven't been so good for the Gamecocks, but really solid defense from the Volunteers, showing that so far they can handle the pressure of a 4-minute power play.
Defensive effort doing well so far for both teams, as we've seen Hayes make a couple great plays himself already early on in this game. Face-off won by the shorthanded Volunteers. Smojice puts it up for DeChico, giving it back behind Hayes, and Smojice ends up with it. Smojice up to Santoro. Santoro and Locken working together now. Santoro across to Locken. Locken with a shot off the pad of Shaw. The Volunteers clear that one with just under a minute left on this 4-minute power play. Ricciatelli now for the Gamecocks as they make a line change. Up and around the glass, Bolger and Mulcairn the closest to it. Mulcairn gets it. Hit against the glass by a Volunteer, but the Gamecocks come away with that one. That'll go into the neutral zone as we just reached 30 seconds left in this power play. Up and around by Ricciatelli. Bolger gets it off the glass. Bolger pushing offensively behind Shaw all the way around to Greeley. Greeley leaves it one more for Thomas. Chaos there in front of the goal, and a nice save there by the goalie, Brandon Shaw.
Yeah, and a good performance by him, especially on this power play. In the last 30 seconds there, he saw a couple attempts shot at him, but he was able to deflect them all, cover up on that last one.
With 14 seconds left in this power play, this will be the Gamecocks' last chance before they go back to full strength. Gamecocks win that faceoff, putting it up to the top of the key and then across. A nice one-timer by Thomas, but not able to get it, and the puck is still free, but the Gamecocks are not able to capitalize on that free puck from Shaw. A good hit by McGowan to keep the puck in play, but the Volunteers back at full strength are now going to make an offensive push of their own. Into the Gamecock zone, and a shot tipped by the defensive player and going nowhere. Off the skate of Henderson. Now Greeley has it. Greeley up the ice. Now Henderson gets that rebound off the Volunteer skate. Thomas able to get that to his teammate, and Shaw's going to cover that one up for another stoppage of play with 10 minutes and 23 seconds left in this period.
And we haven't seen the Volunteer offense really set up at all inside the attacking zone. And we saw them just kind of take a rush shot there and then hurry back to play defense. You wonder if that's going to be their strategy the remainder of the game.
Absolutely. The Gamecocks are a very strong offensive team, so the Volunteers have done a great job so far as they had a shot attempt there, but blocked by the defensive men. Gamecocks pushing the momentum with Lindstad, and now Wilkins has it. Wilkins with a one-timer across the face of Shaw, and the Volunteers will get that rebound. Flaherty back defensively and stick poking away from the Volunteer with the help of Lawrence. Off the glass into the neutral zone goes Lawrence's pass. Lindstad, the closest one there. His name also not getting called last weekend. Lawrence and List defensively as that goes off of List's body behind Hayes. Flaherty, the freshman, making a quick move to get all the way to the offensive zone. A nice deke, but not able to capitalize. Left for Wilkins, but the Volunteers get there first. Lawrence now fighting for the puck against the glass. Right next to the face-off sign to the left of Shaw. Wilkins still fighting for the puck, now behind Shaw. Looks like a 2v3 there in favor of the Volunteers, but List gets that one. List across the face but no one there as Lindstad tries to keep that in the zone, and now Lawrence will do the same. Lindstad closest there for the Gamecocks, but the Volunteers put that one off the glass for Lawrence to get there. Lindstad there again. This time he does get the puck. The puck ends up with List at the top of the key. List putting it up and behind Shaw, and Flaherty's going to back off with this one. The Volunteers now pushing.
Oh, sorry about that, but just the amount of new players we've seen from the Gamecocks tonight, a lot more rotation, especially than we saw last week with guys like Lindstad, and also Greeley coming in we didn't see a lot last time.
Absolutely, plenty of fresh legs here for the Gamecocks as we're about 8.5 minutes left in this opening period, and Flaherty is working behind Hayes, putting that one up into the neutral zone so that the Gamecocks can get off a line change. Volunteers playing with the puck behind Shaw as the Gamecocks able to catch up with them now after that line change as Puskar was there to try and steal that puck as well as Kay. That goes through the neutral zone for the Volunteers. Puskar into the offensive zone with an opening. Trying to make moves but not able to do so as Shaw will cover that one up in between his legs.
And I thought Puskar was one of the most impressive players we saw last week in the win over Clemson. He had a lot of good looks but also set up his teammate Owen Thomas really well.
Absolutely. Thomas was working very well with the freshman Puskar and Locken on that offensive front last week, seeing if they're able to do so again this week against a so far pretty strong defensive Volunteers team. Gamecocks win that face-off, and Smojice with a quick shot to the left of the goal. Kept in by Reed, but then another Volunteer able to clear that in the neutral zone. Off the glass high, and Smojice will get there for the Gamecocks, pointing that up and around the glass, and that'll stop on the skate of a Gamecock, and now Santoro has it. Santoro staying with the Volunteer who now has the puck. And that puck will go all the way around the glass to behind Hayes before DeChico gets there. DeChico trying to leave it for Reed, but a Volunteer gets there first. Smojice now with it after a bit of chaos. Smojice pushed to the ground and puts it behind Hayes where there's a Volunteer now. A nice hit there by DeChico, still fighting for it as a stoppage of play by the referees. With 7 minutes and 15 seconds to play, and it looks like the Volunteers are going to be skating away here.
Maybe to a power play? Yep.
That's right, Spencer. Bobby DeChico will be going into the penalty box for the Gamecocks, and they're looking at their first penalty kill of the night, and the Volunteers now are suddenly on the offensive side of things.
Definitely, and this is where the Gamecocks, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, really struggled last week against Clemson. And
actually, it's a 4-on-4 here, as it got a little too chippy afterwards, and the Volunteer is actively trying to get in to the penalty box, but it looked like it was almost iced over. Had to get help by one of the camera people.
You know, it is typical for a hockey rink, but it is cold here, especially throughout the state of South Carolina today.
Absolutely, one of the colder ones here, as that was won by the Volunteers, but Wilkins quick to get there. With a shot and a nice save by Hayes, and then cleared by the Gamecocks, and a mistake by the Volunteers puts the puck in the neutral zone. Gamecocks trying to win that one, and do with Lawrence poking it back to his defensive man. McGowan with the puck, fighting against a Volunteer. The Volunteer falls down, and Lawrence comes away with it. Up to Wilkins. A 3-on-2 here for the Gamecocks. Wilkins with a move, and across the face of Shaw. That puck will go to the neutral zone, and Henderson's the only one back against the Volunteer. A shot and a save by Hayes, and Hayes has done very well so far, as that puck will go across the ice to Wilkins. Wilkins one more up into the zone, and Lawrence is in front of that, and Shaw's going to sit there as Lawrence is dragged down by the Volunteer as the whistle's blown to stop play.
Yeah, the fans are definitely being loud, especially at some of this chippiness we're seeing here. But Zach Hayes has had a really solid start. He hasn't faced a ton of attempts, but some of them have been, you know, some pretty good opportunities for the Volunteers.
Him being aggressive as well and coming out of the paint is something that I'm looking to see him do more of. It's very good to see him being able to do that, being only a sophomore. As we are at 1 minute and 11 seconds on the 4-on-4, but it's going to be a 4-on-3 here in favor of the Volunteers, as the Gamecocks will send another player into the penalty box.
It was Rob Lawrence, the lone Canadian of this Gamecock hockey squad, heading to the box with DeChico there.
So essentially a normal penalty kill here for the Gamecocks, just a 4-on-3 instead of a 5-on-4, being a man down at Santoro, List, and Reed on the ice. The Volunteers keep that one and putting it across the ice at the top of the key. List using his body to block as the Volunteers are looking for an opening on the shot. Gamecocks are staying, trying to use their body to block these shots as they know they're down a man for about 3 minutes and 11 seconds. And that'll be a goal for the Volunteers. That'll be number 13, Kieran Ogle. And with a power play here, the penalty kill for the Gamecocks continues to struggle as it did last week.
Yeah, and I mean, it's what we were talking about. They struggled on the kill last week, and they do it again here. Is, you know, nothing Hayes really could have done about that. It would have been an absolute miracle save if he had gotten to that puck. But it was one of the first times we've seen this Volunteer offense actually be able to get set up. And once they did, they made the Gamecocks pay for it.
Absolutely, and then moving the puck across the face of Hayes back and forth. It was only a matter of time before they got that back post opening, and of course they did so just now with 6 minutes and 2 seconds left. We are at 4-on-4 hockey as Bolger will make the face-off here for the Gamecocks. But the refs blow their whistle here. They're coming to talk something over. 1-0 in favor of the Volunteers now with 6 minutes and 2 seconds left.
And it was similar to this last week when in the first period the Gamecocks did look a little sluggish. I think they look better tonight coming out, but it's just yet again committing too many penalties and they get bit for it.
Absolutely, is 45 seconds for both teams here in 4-on-4 hockey before we're back to full strength with a 5-on-5. Flaherty making some moves into the offensive zone, but not able to keep the puck. Flaherty fighting 2 Volunteers. Greeley moving to help. Greeley now fighting with the Volunteers, and the Volunteers come away with it. Volunteers with a pass across the face of Flaherty into the Gamecocks defensive zone. Flaherty and Thomas fighting for that one. And Thomas putting that up for Bolger. Bolger putting it center for Flaherty. Flaherty bringing it up, giving it off to Greeley. Greeley has room. Greeley looking for a pass to Bolger, but not able to get that. Riccitelli back on the defensive effort, as well as Flaherty coming back from that offensive possession. A body hit by Riccitelli, and a clean one at that. Good play there, as we are back to 5-on-5 hockey with just over 5 minutes left in this opening period. Greeley now into the offensive zone, trying to leave it for his teammate, but not able to get there. The Volunteers intercepting that one. Defensive play by Mulcairn, a shove well played, and Bolger now back to help as the nice move by Riccitelli gets him the puck. Riccitelli putting it up to the top of their zone and into the neutral zone where Locken's the closest there for the Gamecocks. Locken still trying to intercept that puck, putting a Volunteer against the glass, but he's able to get it away beforehand. Mulcairn back defensively and able to body that one to Riccitelli. Kay now leaving it off for Locken, freshman to freshman. Kay off to Puskar. Another freshman, and Puskar gets a goal. Freshman to freshman to freshman, and we have an equalizer at 1-1 with 4 minutes and 21 seconds left.
And Kay and Locken is like the 2 most aggressive players I've seen on this team, at least on the offensive side, and they just chase after the puck like nobody's business. And a great dish to Puskar there. Slots it top left, and nothing Shaw can do about that one.
As the fans chant USC and Sandstorm in the background, we see something that we saw a lot last week, and that is equalizing shortly after the Gamecocks go down.
They might commit a few too many penalties, but they respond really well.
Absolutely, as that puck will go all the way to the offensive zone, and Santoro for the Gamecocks is the first one there. List fighting for the puck, putting it off the glass to the top of the key. A long shot there, but blocked by the Volunteers. McGowan was the one taking that shot, as he's now back defensively, and a stick poke by Wilkins will get the Gamecocks the puck back quickly. Middle of the neutral zone is the puck. Put back into the defensive zone, but Henderson's there again. Henderson off to his fellow defenseman, now up to Smojais. Smojais taps that one into the neutral zone, and the Volunteers the closest one there. Gamecocks get a line change off as Henderson and Smojais are working to get that puck back. Now that puck goes behind Hayes, and McGowan gets it. McGowan with a long pass for Lawrence. Lawrence has some room to work. Lawrence with a nice move. Lawrence with a pass. No one's there. Lindstad, the closest one for the Gamecocks. The Tennessee's looking at a 2-1 opportunity, and a great miss there by the Volunteers. A nice big body by Hayes to make them a bit nervous. DeChico there with just over 3 minutes left. Lindstad has the puck. Lindstad fighting for the puck with a Volunteer. Now off to Henderson. Henderson keeping that one, fighting with a Volunteer on the other side now.
And that was easily the best attempt of the night. Even with both teams scoring a goal, I mean, that was a 2 on Zach Hayes. There's no defender there at all.
Absolutely, and Hayes coming out of the paint there was a big thing, making himself look bigger than he is, and well played by him to cause that error. Lindstad with the puck, and it looked to be a big hit, but that will cause a stoppage of play. And Sean Reed looks to be skating over to the penalty box with 2 minutes and 34 seconds left. We will have another power play in favor of the Volunteers.
Something we also saw last week was the Gamecocks, after they equalized, would have all the momentum for a minute, and then we'd see another penalty, and they go back on the defensive end. And it just kind of kills all the momentum they've been working for with the goal.
Absolutely. Penalty is a very big problem for the Gamecocks in multiple past weeks, and of course early on in this one, as 2 minutes of the last 2 minutes and 34 seconds in this opening period will be 5-on-4 hockey for the Volunteers. Face-off coming. The Volunteers win that one, putting it to the top of the key. Now King with it. King with a wild pass. Intercepted, but not able to do anything, as that puck will go all the way out near Shaw, as that penalty time will wind down. Locken putting a Volunteer against the glass, as Santoro's there defensively. And now Mulkieran. Mulkieran with a big clear up to Locken, but Locken not able to get his stick on that one. Penalty kill working here with Mulkieran, Locken, Santoro, and Riccitelli. That is the 4 for the Gamecocks with just under 2 minutes left. King for the Volunteers with the puck, putting it up to his teammate at the top of the zone. Tennessee working the space they have with an extra man. King gets it back. King with a shot and a body save by Hayes off the body and putting his glove, and a great save by Hayes with 1 minute and 42 seconds left in this period.
Again, we've said it so far tonight, but Hayes has looked really solid. You know, the one goal he allowed, great offense from the Volunteers, so he's still looking really good in goal, though, keeping the Gamecocks together, especially in these power play moments.
Absolutely, penalty kill working so far this first half of this power play, as the Volunteers win that face-off. And then it gets stick poked by Henderson, putting it all the way to the neutral zone, and a bit of chatter afterwards from Henderson. Berman, the closest one there, waiting for the puck to come out behind Shaw. That puck goes up into the offensive zone for the Volunteers, across the face and off this body of Hayes. Cleared again by the Gamecocks, and they're clearing these well, as that one was Berman, and will go to just about 30 seconds left in this power play.
So far, they've looked a lot better on this power play than any previous one today or in last week.
McGowan, the first one there, putting that up around the ice off the skate of a Volunteer, but Henderson gets that one off the skate of another Volunteer, and now cleared by Connor Berman, and a line change for the Gamecocks to finish out this final minute of hockey, and only 10 seconds left until they are back at full strength. One last power play opportunity for the Volunteers. That goes by Flaherty. List is there to put that one up around the glass. Now able to get it by the Volunteers, as that goes high and out of play, and we are back at even strength with 32 seconds left in this first period.
Really nice kill there for the Gamecocks. It's a good save by Zach Hayes, and the rest of that power play was just spent with deep, long clears from the Gamecocks, just killing a lot of that time.
That's a textbook power play. It's all about clearing it and getting your team to wind that clock down to get back to full strength.
Absolutely.
Bolger winning that faceoff, as a defenseman tried to clear that, but it went off of Bolger, so now he has the puck in the neutral zone. Off the skate of a Volunteer, but Greeley there, using his body against 2 Volunteers for the puck. Flaherty gets it in the neutral zone, putting it behind him back to Bolger. Bolger with a nice move, but not getting into the offensive zone. Hayes will get that puck, trying to leave that for an icing, but no such call. High and away, as that will end the first period. at 1-1. We are locked up here, and the Gamecocks have done something that they've done for weeks, equalizing right after they let a power play goal in by the Volunteers. A pretty good defensive half, even though we saw a goal for both teams. Well defensive play by both sides here.
Definitely. Both teams, outside of the goals you mentioned, have been playing really solid. Both goalies, I think, are having a good game. Hayes for the Gamecocks, Shaw for the Volunteers. Both teams are playing pretty well in all assets of the game.
Absolutely. We will bring you the middle period here shortly after this break. We are tied 1-1. Welcome back to the Plex as we are about to start the middle period of this game, and we are locked in a 1-1 game. And what do you think about the first period, Spencer?
I mean, a very even matchup we saw so far. I think the Gamecocks' offensive attack looked a lot stronger. They had a lot more opportunities, but in the same regard, Tennessee's defense looked really well and stifled a lot of those opportunities.
Absolutely, ending in a 1-goal apiece affair here as Owen Thomas leaves that for Bolger, who ends up on the ground. Still fighting for it is Bolger, and he actually comes away with that. Bolger with a shot wide right of Shaw. Greeley up with the rebound, and a nice one-tap by Greeley. What a pass, and the senior Owen Thomas gets us on the board in 24 seconds.
Incredible pass from Greeley there. He spun around, sent it right to Thomas, and the Gamecocks are up 2-1, and this place is rocking again.
I mean, I'm speechless. What an amazing pass by the junior from Lexington, Dylan Greeley.
And you saw the volunteer defender just barely, almost got his stick on it. The spin move was perfect. Thomas was sitting right there, and Shaw was helpless.
Beautiful play there to give the Gamecocks the advantage early on in this second period. The Gamecocks win that faceoff following their goal by Owen Thomas. List putting that up for the freshman Puskar. Puskar leading himself with that puck. Top of the key now with it, putting it up and around for Pineda. Or that was Locken, sorry. Now back at the top of the key. Stuck on the ref and fought for by the Gamecocks and won back at the top of the key again with Flaherty, where he's been thriving all season. Up to the neutral zone and tapped by List, but nonetheless going all the way back to the right before Flaherty tries to clear that, not able to do so. List and Puskar there now. Puskar fighting for that one, leaving it up for List, but the Volunteers fighting valiantly at the end. List comes away with possession. List setting that one off the rafters as that will call a stoppage of play with 18 minutes and 48 seconds left. And what, not even 2 minutes in, and it's already an electric period.
And one thing we noticed last week about the Gamecocks is once they finally did get the lead, they didn't let go of it. So we'll see if that continues here tonight. But they came out firing here in the second.
That might have been one of the better passes I've seen commentating Gamecock hockey.
Definitely, that was really incredible play from Greeley.
As the faceoff comes to the left of Hayes, and won by the Gamecocks defensively is List. List off the glass to the freshman K, but the Volunteers get there first. Flaherty now defensively as that goes in the front of Hayes, able to get that one cleared. Locken putting that in the neutral zone, but the Volunteers get it right back. A stoppage of play, that'll be an offsides call on the Volunteers.
We'll see how they answered that goal by the Gamecocks. You know, they found their first goal via the power play, and that's how, as we've mentioned time and time again, that's how people score on this Gamecock defense. Otherwise, it doesn't happen that easily.
Absolutely. The Gamecocks penalty kill, certainly one of their biggest weaknesses on this roster, as that puck goes up for Lindstad, but the Volunteers get that and are now in the offensive zone in a one-on-one. A nice move by the Volunteer. Riccitelli using his body and able to succeed in doing so, letting the rest of his team get back defensively. A long pass across the face of the ice, and another one for Wilkins putting in the offensive zone. Wilkins with a move, but not able to recover as the puck is now flying rapidly and goes into the neutral zone. Gamecocks regain possession, but then tipped again by Richter for Tennessee. Now poke sticked, and it's a 2-on-2 for the fight, and Wilkins gets there for the puck, and instead leaving it for Lindstad, rather. Lindstad up to Bolger. Bolger moving into the offensive zone with a 2-on-3 with Wilkins. Bolger with a shot into the chest of Shaw. Bounced out briefly, but Shaw able to glove that one up with a stoppage of time with 17 minutes and 40 seconds left in the second period.
Again, we'll see how this Gamecock offense continues to operate, but so far in the second, they've come out firing, and that seemed to be a big trend for them in the second period. Lots of goals are scored. That post-first period speech, it's got the Gamecocks feeling good.
Absolutely. Greeley with that beautiful pass that I'll be talking about for months to come, probably, as Berman now winning that puck to the right of Shaw, trying to get it to the top of the key, but Smojais gets there first, off of the back of the net, and gets his own rebound. Smojais working against the glass, evading the referee as well. The Gamecocks get that one back, trying to put it behind Shaw. But the Volunteers get that one quickly, but up to Riccitelli now. Off to Berman. Berman with a shot high above Shaw. McKieran trying to keep that one in. but not capable of doing so. Tipped by a volunteer, but Riccitelli looks to be the first one there and does, off the glass to his teammate, both getting hit. Sid Toro with the puck now. Smojice moving up with him. He leaves the puck for Smojice. Smojice and Berman there. The puck off the glass and high into the net, and a mistake by the Volunteers will bring a face-off in their own defensive zone as line changes occur for both teams with 16 minutes and 49 seconds left. The Gamecocks are up 2-1 after that quick goal by Greeley and Thomas.
Yeah, and yet again, we didn't see a lot of the Volunteer offense getting set at all in the first period outside of when they were attacking against the power play. But really, they haven't done that really at all here in the second.
It's been back and forth ever since that goal by Thomas. The last couple minutes have been solid defensive effort by both teams. We've watched both starting fives up and down the ice constantly with line changes hard to come by. Greeley now with the puck, still fighting for it, but the Volunteers put that one in the neutral zone by Henderson. McGowan with it, putting it back in the neutral zone. And the Volunteers put it back. The puck going between the neutral zones back and forth again. McGowan there, a nice scoop out by Hayes. And a big hit, but nonetheless, Thomas able to get that one clear as Henderson has a shot at this one. Poked away by the Volunteer defenseman, and Greeley trying to get there, but the Volunteers do it first. With a nice pass by the Volunteers, but McGowan defensively for the Gamecocks clearing that one up to Thomas. Thomas putting the puck in the neutral zone before the Volunteers try to get that one back, but not able to do so off the skate of Bolger. Bolger has room to work off of the side of the glass, and a long shot there into the body of Shaw by Greeley, who just had the assist, and he will stop the clock again with 16 minutes and 1 second left. The Gamecocks, of course, still up 2-1.
And if the rest of the second period plays out the way it is so far, Brandon Shaw is going to be in for a long 16 minutes.
Absolutely, but so far so good from Shaw. A couple of outliers, of course, and then the Tennessee obviously getting one themselves, with both goalies having very well played tonight. As a long shot there goes off to the left of Shaw and followed by the freshman K, but not able to capitalize on that one. A missed shot and a good save by Shaw. K able to intercept that pass before it goes up to the Volunteers in the Gamecocks zone, but then leaves it for the Gamecocks. A body save by Hayes, up and around. A little bit of mistake there by the Gamecocks. Not there defensively, and the Tennessee Volunteers are going to equalize. That is number 20, I believe, Shane Kokoska for the Volunteers, and it is 2-2 here with just above 15 and a half minutes remaining in the second period.
Yeah, tough break for Hayes there as that puck took a lot of ricochets and did find the way to the back of the net. As Volunteers equalize here. Really not a great play, though, from Nick Kay. Gave it right to the Volunteers and kind of led to that eventual goal. You saw himself being visibly frustrated with his play.
Freshman with the mistake, but nonetheless a very integral part of this team.
Mm-hmm.
And the Gamecocks, well, both teams now looking to go ahead as the Tennessee gets an opportunity to do so, but not able to get a shot off. Well played defensively by the Gamecocks. A pass all the way into the Tennessee zone before they put that one right back in the Gamecocks zone. Two defensive men now for the Gamecocks there. That goes off the glass, not quite out of play, and Flaherty is fighting for it. Tennessee keeps it in the zone. Tennessee with a shot off the pad of Hayes. Tennessee with a pass, but not able to get another shot off as the Gamecocks now push this one into their own offensive zone. Bolger, the closest one, using his stick to try and get an offensive possession. Bolger with a nice pass, but a little too hard for Lindstad. Lindstad trying to keep that one in play, and Tennessee puts that in the neutral zone, and there's a one-on-one here between the Volunteer. Nice move by the Volunteer, but only a shot goes across the face of Hayes. And Bolger able to get that puck in favor of the Gamecocks. Stick play by Flaherty. That stick goes high in the air. I believe that's a Volunteer stick as that puck goes all the way in the neutral zone, and a Volunteer is out in front all by himself. He misses that shot on Hayes. Couple players from both sides falling down as that shot's going to go out of play off the skate of a Carolina defenseman, and chaos unfolds here with 14 minutes and 14 seconds left in the second period.
Lots of back and forth there, lots of physicality on display since the equalizer, and I got to think there's only going to be more of that to come.
Absolutely a very entertaining second period here with just under 6 minutes passing. as the face-off will come to the left of Hayes after that puck was tipped by the Carolina defenseman out of play. Face-off won by the Volunteers, but the Gamecocks were close to get there. And that's Berman. Berman with some speed. Berman with a nice pass to Smojice. Smojice not able to capitalize. A good save by Shaw. Riccitelli gets it back. Riccitelli with a long shot. And off of the rebound, the Gamecocks make it 3-2. A nice rebound play by the Gamecocks. And Smojice was able to help his teammate there.
And you mentioned it after the first period intermission. Name a team that's better after a goal is scored against them. This Gamecocks team, they just figure it out after they give up one. They go out and get one right back.
I'm sure Nick K feels a lot better about his mistake after that one. His teammates helping him out there, and the Gamecocks have a 3-2 lead with just under 14 minutes left in this game, and this second period has been far more exciting than the first.
And that save, by Shaw on the first shot by Smojice was really impressive, but not a lot he could do about that next one.
The Gamecocks win that face-off, and Locken gives it off to his defenseman as that puck goes far in front of Shaw. No icing there, and Puskar now there with the puck. Puskar with a shot and a nice glove save there by Shaw.
And Puskar already found that top left corner early in the first, so Shaw looking out for it, and as you mentioned, a nice glove save by him.
Absolutely, and again, that's just a nice ricochet shot in favor of the Gamecocks. Shaw has not played as bad as the 3 goals look. He has played quite well, especially with the Gamecocks being as an offensive a team as they are. McGowan now gets the puck. McGowan with a shot off the body of Shaw. Kay, the first one there, putting it behind the net for Locken, freshman to freshman. Locken leaves it off for Kay. Kay behind the back, but no one there. McGowan able to get there. A stoppage of play here by the referees. With 13 minutes and 26 seconds left, the Gamecocks leading 3-2 off of that goal just moments ago.
It's going to be a power play here for the Gamecocks. So I believe it's
South Carolina, it will be on a power play after that penalty on the Volunteers with 2 minutes now, of course, with 5-on-4. The Gamecocks have been offensive all night and now also have a man up looking to find that space and potentially raise their lead. Tennessee trying to clear that, but Flaherty not allowing them. Flaherty across the ice to List, back to Flaherty. Flaherty with a shot off the skate of a Volunteer, and Thomas is there to try and get that puck. But it goes up to Flaherty at the top of the key again. Flaherty with a nice move. The freshman with multiple moves. The freshman with a run, but not able to finish it. List there to get his board after the missed shot by Flaherty that went to the left of Shaw. A long shot there off of Greeley, it looked like. Back across the ice to Bolger. Bolger top of the key to Flaherty. Flaherty back to Bolger to the right of Shaw. Now exactly to the right of Shaw is List. No, it's Thomas. Thomas with a shot and another glove save by Shaw, and he's been good with his glove all night. Back-to-back glove saves for him.
And if Flaherty had scored that goal after the incredible stick work by him, I think this place would have erupted. That was making 3 Volunteer defenders miss, almost able to slot it in bottom right there.
Flaherty, the freshman, extremely talented with his stick, as we've seen all season, able to make moves, but not able to capitalize on that one, as the Gamecocks get a face-off to the right of Shaw, and Puskar wins that one. Kay close by. Locken as well. Locken getting possession of the puck. Locken turning around and shooting, but not getting it in. Kay there. Puck is up in the air fighting for it. Kay fell down, as did a Volunteer. That puck goes up to DeChico. DeChico keeping it in the zone. Well played by DeChico. A shot blocked, and now Locken gets it. Locken keeping it. Now up to Reed. Reed back to Locken. Locken across the ice, but Kay almost got a little ricochet in there. Locken almost with another attempt as well. The Gamecocks heavily offensive with 30 seconds left on this power play. A stoppage of play here again as the power play goes to 29 seconds and 11 minutes and 54 seconds left to play in the second period. As they're sending another Volunteer to the penalty box. So it'll actually be a 5-on-3 in favor of the Gamecocks for 29 seconds before they have about another minute and a half worth of a power play and this is very advantageous for the Gamecocks.
You know, it's been hard enough. The Volunteers have looked pretty good on defense, but it's hard enough to defend this team at full strength, now being down 2 men. Going to be really tough here for the Volunteers to keep the Gamecocks off the scoreboard.
The 5 for the 5-on-3 is Thomas. Flaherty on the face-off was Bolger, Richatelli, and List rounding out the 5. List keeping that in the zone. List with a nice stick move up and around Shaw. List keeping it for himself, now passing it to the other side of the ice. Back to List at the top. List with a slap shot, high and away, and that looked to be off the pad of Shaw, so the face-off will come in the Tennessee defensive zone. 7 seconds left on a 5-on-3 before they have about another minute and a half, as I said earlier, on the power play.
You can just see some of the rotations and movements the Volunteer defense is going to have to make, being so outnumbered. Really tough playing like this. But
Thomas getting to the puck for Carolina. Now all the way to the top of the key for Flaherty, where he sits most of the time, and that's going to be a trip by the Volunteers and another penalty. Flaherty with some room to work. Flaherty with a nice pass and a one-timer by Thomas, not able to connect. Greeley with the puck, back to Flaherty at the top of the zone. Flaherty with a stick move, but the penalty will finally be called. And with 1 minute and 9 seconds left on 5-on-4, we're going to have a 5-on-3 again for a minute and 9 seconds, and then another 51 seconds of 5-on-4 with 11 minutes and 3 seconds left. And that was a lot of numbers, Spencer.
a lot of numbers, a lot of penalties here in the second for the Volunteers. And, you know, they did a good job of killing the 5-on-3 just a moment ago and put themselves right back in the same situation.
Mistakes by the Volunteers are causing them to not only have to defend a 5-on-3, but also get tired for the rest of their game. They're putting in these defensemen as much as possible, but when the Gamecocks have such a strong offensive possession, line changes can't really happen for the Volunteers.
And already being down a goal, it's hard for them to even think about offense right now.
As the Gamecocks win that one, and Flaherty gets it back, and then tipped by the Volunteer, but Thomas is there. Thomas giving it back up to the freshman Flaherty. Flaherty with a shot off the pad of Shaw, but a nice shot by Flaherty. That goal is going to be moved by Shaw on a defensive effort, so the time will stop with 53 seconds left on a 5-on-3. The Gamecocks, of course, still leading 3-2 with just under 11 minutes remaining in the second period. Thomas, Flaherty on the left side here of this offensive possession of the Gamecocks. As the face-off was won by Tennessee, Bolger there, as well as Greeley and List. List with a long shot way right of Shaw. Up around the glass, Flaherty able to get there before he passes it off. List now up to Bolger. Greeley with a one-timer missing. Greeley with another one-timer missing again, as that puck will get cleared to the neutral zone and the Gamecocks need to get back. That going through the skates of a couple, and Bolger pushing it up the modem now. Bolger left it behind him as the Volunteers make a nice defensive play and have an offensive possession here as well. Flaherty there defensively, poking that one away as 10 seconds left remain on this 5-on-3. Long pass up for Flaherty in between the skates, and that'll go behind Shaw. The Volunteers get their first, clearing that one. Line changes for both teams, and now with 45 seconds left, it's a 5-on-4. Stoppage here by the refs again with 9 minutes and 48 seconds left, as that'll be offsides by the Volunteers, and a good call by the refs because that Volunteer, after the line change, was wide open.
Yeah, that could have been an unfortunate scenario for the Gamecocks, but the ref called it and the Volunteers were not able to capitalize. But they did do a really good job of killing the 5-on-3 situation there.
Absolutely, having to hold that for about 3 minutes in total. Very well done by them now in a 5-on-4 for 46 seconds. The Gamecocks still up 1, looking to use this power play with a 5-on-4 to put it up 2. Winning that face-off is Reed. Reed doing a spin, putting it up into the neutral zone, taking it himself, up and around the glass as Kay gets there. Kay back around the glass for his teammate Puskar, leaving it for DeChico. DeChico up to Reed. Reed looking for an angle, leaving it off. Back to Reed, but he tipped that one, and that'll go away into the neutral zone. DeChico, the first one there, one Volunteer on him. 10 seconds left in this power play, and this is the last offensive effort before they're back to even strength. Body block by the Volunteers, and Puskar gets that one, but it's in the neutral zone. Full strength, and that'll be an offsides call on the Gamecocks. As it got a little too aggressive here, and Lock-in will get called for that one, bringing it back into the neutral zone.
Yeah, and some really nice kills there by the Volunteers. You know, you can't really ask for much more from them.
Absolutely, extremely well done by their defense, both in the 5-on-3 and the 5-on-4. Of course, no goals scored. Plenty of shots going Shaw's way. Lindstad wins that one, but puts it away for no one, essentially, but Kay gets there first. Kay off the glass into the neutral zone. The Volunteers put that one up and around Hayes. The Gamecocks following closely. That puck up in the air with a weird drop, but Wilkins is there. Wilkins for the Gamecocks. A nice move by Wilkins. Wilkins with another move. A 2-on-1 here. Wilkins takes it himself off the body of Shaw. The Volunteers now making a run of their own. 2-on-3 in favor of the Gamecocks defensively. A nice stick poke there by List, and he wins the puck, but the Volunteers get it right back. Volunteers, Hayes with a beautiful defensive play, diving around the right side of his paint, and Wilkins now with the puck, and Lindstad gets it, recollecting himself in the defensive zone. Off the glass, the puck goes again. Using his body as Wilkins. The Volunteers send that one behind the right of Hayes, and Mulkieran will be the first one there by far. Mulkieran and Riccitelli there defensively. Mulkieran keeping it behind Hayes as long as he can. Puskar, the freshman, now trying to put that up, fighting against two Volunteers. Volunteers get it back again. Puskar back again, fighting the glass. A good body block by Hayes, and then chipping that one away are the Gamecocks, putting it all the way into the Tennessee defensive zone so they can get a line change off. Riccitelli with the puck now, following the line change, trying to clear that but not able to do so. A tap by the Tennessee, had a chance there, but a pad save by Hayes again. And a nice body against the boards by the Gamecocks, pushing that puck out of their defensive zone, making the Volunteers recollect themselves.
Hayes has made a lot of really nice plays here in the last minute or two.
Absolutely, Hayes, a solid defensive wall for this Gamecocks team here, only letting 2 in so far as opposed to Shaw's 3. The Gamecocks still fighting defensively against these Volunteers who are looking to equalize. Volunteers with a play, and that'll be a delayed penalty as a Volunteer ended up on the ice, and now it will be called, and it looks to be a power play in favor of the Volunteers with 6 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in the second period.
And you can tell that was coming. A player just ended up flat on his back there, and it's going to be Mulkieran going to the penalty box.
Mulkieran now trying to get into the box, and now he's able to do so with his stick. We saw that earlier with the Volunteers. So South Carolina will be on the penalty kill, and they are one for 2, I believe, on the night here, letting in a power play goal to open the scoring, but able to kill one after that.
Yeah, and we'll see how they fare in this one with 6:46 here left in the second.
Volunteers winning that face-off, looking for a shot, winding up for one, but not able to get one. And a nice body save by Hayes will stop the clock as only 6 seconds has drained off this power play.
You know, goalie being easily one of the most important positions in hockey. Being able to rely on a guy like Zach Hayes has definitely proved the Gamecocks well.
Absolutely. Having someone like Hayes behind you is a rather comfortable feeling, I'm sure, for this roster. The Gamecocks communicating, trying to use their body to block a shot across the face, and a nice save there by Hayes off his pad. And that puck's going to go all the way back into Tennessee's defensive zone. A mishap by the Volunteers. Pushing up forward is Santoro, but nonetheless the Volunteers making a move around that one, and Santoro will back off. Lock-in now pushing forward. He'll back off as well. Into the neutral zone go the Volunteers. Santoro there defensively, up and around the glass. Hayes tried to be there, but not able to do so. An opportunity there for the Volunteers, but that pass a little too hard and not able to capitalize. The Gamecocks still trying to use their body to stop this puck on any shot. Lock-in moving up around the top of the zone, going back and forth. List there also body blocking as the Volunteers go to the left of Hayes. Now to the top of the key. A long shot there off the pad of Hayes, but the Volunteers get that one back. Moving it up to the face-off zone and across the ice, and a long shot there and a diving save by Hayes. And he's on the ground as things get a little chippy. But it looks to me like that was a beautiful save by Zach Hayes, laying out for that one.
Yeah, and he also ended up flat on his back, but making a couple nice saves in the process. Excuse me.
Absolutely, Hayes proving to be a brick wall here this period. 40 seconds left on this power play for the Volunteers, and 5 minutes and 26 seconds left in this second period.
Yeah, and the Volunteers offense, you know, those were some good chances there, and Hayes just proved to be too much.
Hayes having a well use of his pads here to block most of these shots, as that puck will go into the neutral zone, and the Volunteers will have to slow everything down. A pass up now for Carline, who had 2 last week for the Volunteers. Berman there defensively coming in from the offensive zone. Puck goes up and around, and Reed's there. Reed clearing it off the glass, and it'll once again go in the neutral zone, and 18 seconds left in this power play. One last chance for the Volunteers, bringing it up with Richter. Richter falls over, but that wasn't a penalty, simply slipped on the ice. A shot there, a nice save by Hayes, and the referees called that one because they lost sight of the puck. But nonetheless, it did end up in Hayes' glove, as there was only 7 seconds left on this power play, and a face-off win by the Gamecocks here would put them back at full strength.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot more chirping in between the players here in the second, as the refs have had to come over and separate players more than once.
Face-off coming to the right of Hayes. The Gamecocks in their final seconds of a 4-on-5. And able to clear it, putting themselves back at full strength with 4 minutes and 45 seconds left in this period. Mulkieran comes out of the box, and Greeley comes into the game. Greeley getting the puck, but the Volunteers shortly after maintaining possession. Poked away by Thomas the senior, and Reed keeps it in the neutral zone. Bolger moving offensively across the ice to Greeley. Greeley gets there. Greeley trying to get it to Thomas, but instead gets it to Bolger, who then gets it to Thomas. Off the skate of Thomas. That puck goes in the neutral zone. Reed quick to get there and putting it up over to Shaw. Shaw bouncing it off his pad and stick. Thomas the closest one there, now Bolger. That puck goes into the neutral zone. Left for by the Volunteers, and Hayes will have that one behind his own net. Passing it off to Reed, gets it off his own skate, up and around to DeChico. But nonetheless, the Volunteers get there. DeChico uses his skate to stop it. DeChico and Bolger running into each other, and now the puck is on the other side of the ice with Greeley. Greeley leaving it for Reed. Reed hit, but nonetheless gets possession. Reed putting it up so they can have a line change for the Gamecocks. 3.5 minutes here left in this period, and Puskar with a steal, keeping on sides, as Lock-in was getting there late and avoiding the offsides call. Puskar with a stick poke, but the Volunteers are pushing here across the face of Hayes, but not able to capitalize again. Hayes has seen plenty of those tonight. A great pad save by Hayes, and that puck is still in the Gamecocks defensive zone, but fighting for it now, clearing it to Lock-in. Lock-in's got a one-on-one. Lock-in not able to score there. Shaw blocking that one. McGowan putting that one back in, but the Volunteers get there. Lock-in fighting for it, as well as Kay. Puskar with a chance. Puskar with a pass. Lock-in with a nice move, and the freshman with the goal. And once again, week in and week out, showing me why he is my favorite player on this roster. 4-2 Carolina.
And Puskar might be one of mine. I mean, that was just an incredible pass there. And Lock-in with a really nice move. He faked out Shaw. Empty net at that point.
And what we haven't said yet is that was a very nice penalty kill on that last power play by the Gamecocks, of course, keeping their momentum and now extending their lead to 2.
And Hayes just holds it all together at that back end. Everything else ahead of him. The freshmen have proved killer tonight for the Gamecocks.
Absolutely, as they have all season. The Gamecocks have a 2-goal lead with 2 minutes and 47 seconds left in this period. Face-off won by the Gamecocks, with the Tennessee fighting for it. McGowan there for the Gamecocks defensively, putting it up around to Henderson and Lindstad. Lindstad with a nice touch to Henderson. Henderson bringing it up. Henderson with a pass. And another goal before he even finished calling the last one. And that one for the Gamecocks makes it 5-2 with 2 minutes and 31 seconds left.
And we mentioned it, once they have the momentum, it's really hard for them to slow down, and that's going to be Bolger getting the goal there, one of the senior leaders of this team, and that was just some great playing all around.
The Gamecocks with 2 quick back-to-back goals, and suddenly they have a 3-goal lead in this second period.
In 2 weeks in a row, we've seen the second period just be where most of the goal scoring happens. And last week it was a lot more even, but tonight it's all Gamecocks in the second.
Up for the face-off now is Puskar. Puskar winning that one, staying on the offensive, but off his skate, the Volunteers gain possession. Now off of Smojice's skate, and that puck goes into the Tennessee's defensive zone. Tried to be stolen by Riccitelli, but not able to do so, but he gets the puck anyways. Leaving the puck for the Volunteers behind that red line. A nice pass there, but an even better defensive play as there's a stoppage by the referee, and a call will be made. 2 minutes and 7 seconds left. The Gamecocks now leading 5-2 off quick back-to-back goals, and Connor Berman, the sophomore from New Jersey, will take a trip to the penalty box, and 2 minutes out of these 2 minutes and 7 seconds left will be 5-on-4 for the Volunteers, looking to get one back.
You know, although they do have a big lead, you know, it's important not to lose sight that, you know, every lead can be lost, and the Volunteers are definitely playing with that mindset. They did have some good shots in their last power play, but Hayes was just really, really solid.
Absolutely, still very much a game here, being only in the second period, as the Gamecocks are looking to continue their success with a penalty kill after those last few. Of course, opening the scoring the Volunteers did on a power play, but since then not able to capitalize. A nice one-on-one effort and blocked by Hayes. Cleared off the wall, but the Volunteers get that one back. A mishap and then cleared by the Gamecocks all the way up and around Shaw as a minute and 30 left in this power play. Santoro there, but the Volunteers instead moving around him. A line change here for the Gamecocks early on, and a defensive effort as a Volunteer ends up on the ground. No penalty, just slipped. Volunteers now pushing it offensively. Up and around the glass, but the Chico moving quickly to that one. The Chico using his body. Moving to help him is Santoro. Santoro and Chico working against 3 Volunteers. Looking to pin that against the wall and drain some time. Volunteers keeping it in the zone before it's stolen by the Gamecocks. Kept in the zone by the Volunteers, a good play there. Tried to be moving around by the Chico. Up and around, and Reed's gonna be there, putting it up before Volunteer and a couple of Gamecocks in fight for that one. Volunteers coming away with it as there is under a minute left in both the power play and the period. A good touch by the Volunteers and a glove save by Hayes. Not kept in the glove, but put over the net, and Hayes has continued to be that brick wall. Tennessee moving it around to the other side of the ice. The Chico closest there defensively. Wilkins on the top of the key defensively now for the Gamecocks as the Volunteers try to get a shot off. Reed using his body to slow down the Volunteers' offensive efforts. 10 seconds left of this power play. 15 seconds left now in the game. In the period, sorry. Still a live puck. Cleared by the Gamecocks as that'll end the power play. And holding it now is Shaw with 1.9 seconds left in the period.
And some of these passes by the Volunteers I think have been really nice. They just haven't been able to find a shot on goal. And typically so far tonight, if they have, Zach Hayes has been there to stop it.
Absolutely, Hayes playing phenomenally so far through essentially 2 periods of hockey. 5-2 lead for the Gamecocks as this face-off will end this period. Bolger on it for the Gamecocks. Thomas, Greeley, Kay. As they have an empty net, the Gamecocks do. And that period will end on that face-off, like I said. An electric period here. Tennessee getting 1, and the Gamecocks getting 4 goals for themselves this period, leading 5-2 going into the final period.
Yeah, really dominant performance by them in the second. And a lot of it came from just some excellent passes, I feel, on the attacking end. Piscar, Greeley, just trying to find the open man and they sure did here in the second.
Absolutely well done by these young guys tonight. And, of course, Thomas and Bolger both getting themselves one as well. Everybody's involved tonight as we will bring you the final period of hockey here shortly. Welcome back to the Plex here as we start this face-off with the Volunteers' possession. Poked by Bolger and poked again by Bolger. Greeley now moving into the offensive zone. Greeley with a shot and a body save there by Shaw, but he was offsides before he got that off. The first 12 seconds are off the clock here in this final period with the Gamecocks leading 5-2. And this face-off will come in the neutral zone a little bit towards Shaw and the Volunteers' defensive zone.
And just before the third period started, the tunes of Rocky Top were playing here at the Plex. And Gamecocks getting a little bit disrespectful, at least in the music department. Shows just how much this rivalry affects every single sport these two teams play in.
Absolutely. His back-to-back shots there, saved by Hayes, and the second one stopping the clock with 19 minutes and 38 seconds left.
And, you know, speaking of this rivalry, they're going to see a lot of each other the next 2 days as well as football takes on Tennessee at 7, and then Sunday morning, these two teams will meet again right here at the Plex at 10.
Absolutely, as Bolger puts that up to Greeley in the neutral zone, gives it off one more to Thomas. Thomas just sending that one clear behind Shaw. Bolger the closest one there for the Gamecocks. Bolger able to get that. And a long-distance shot across the face of Shaw off his pad. Gamecocks fighting for it, and DeChico gets it to the top of the key. DeChico with a long shot and off the skate there of a Gamecock player. That was Greeley, but not going in. A good save by Shaw. Greeley falling over, and another one-timer by Shaw. Glove grab, and a long shot there around Shaw again. Shaw seeing plenty of shots early in this third period as Greeley wins this one. Greeley with a backhanded shot across the face of Shaw again. Thomas winning the puck, and the Gamecocks still have possession. DeChico at the top of the key, and that's a line. So DeChico not able to keep that one in. And the Gamecocks making a line change instead, as do the Volunteers. That puck almost out of the rink, but high off the glass. Flaherty there defensively, as well as Puskar. That puck left for no one of the Volunteers, and that'll go all the way back to Shaw. Shaw leaving that one for his teammate. A good steal there as the Gamecocks bring it back to their defenseman Flaherty. Puskar up to Kay. Kay with a shot off the pad of Shaw. Puskar putting that back in. Shaw almost getting on top of that one, but not doing so. Kept in by Kay. A turnaround shot wide right of the goal. Still fighting for possession of the Gamecocks, but the Volunteers finally get it into the neutral zone. A body block by Flaherty, and they're going to call that, it looks like, for tripping. Even though Flaherty just used his shoulder, this will be the first power play in the third period. As I stand corrected, it might not be the power play. In fact, it was offsides instead of a body there by Flaherty. So good favor for the Gamecocks as they win that face-off and get it across to Locken, who lines that one up for Kay, but the Volunteers get there first. Puskar now the closest Gamecock, fighting with multiple Volunteers. Puskar still fighting, put that puck up and around, but the Volunteer defenseman gets possession. Locken in pursuit. Locken hitting the Volunteer against the referee there, but the Volunteers are moving into the neutral zone. Now a mistake there. Kay with a nice pass, but not able to capitalize. Puskar with a slap shot off the body of a Volunteer defenseman, and Kay gets the rebound. Kay getting that mistake again. Flaherty now has it. Flaherty with a move. Flaherty with a shot. Wide left of the goal, barely off the pad of Shaw. Flaherty still fighting for it and keeping it in the offensive zone. The stick movement by the freshman and a one-timer off the body of Shaw. That timer was by Kay. Flaherty has another opportunity. Flaherty high and a body block by Shaw before he's on the ground, and the refs are going to call that one as the Gamecocks are getting a bit chippy afterwards, having to get separated. And it looks like it will be at least a stoppage of clock, if not a power play, after that cluster.
And, you know, you can't be surprised when you see who's in on some of that shoving for the Gamecocks. That was Tommy Locken. Definitely letting his presence be known there, as Flaherty was just kind of decked out of nowhere. He didn't have the puck or anything. So definitely a deserving penalty for the Volunteers, I believe.
The refs talking this one over, but nonetheless, a Volunteer in the penalty box. So Gamecocks will have a 2-minute power play with 16 minutes and 50 seconds left leading by 3 goals, 5-2.
The Volunteers really have had no sort of offense so far. They're going to call it 4-on-4 hockey here as both teams were awarded a penalty.
A little chippiness on the after, I'm sure, no doubt, is why the Gamecocks are sitting there in the box. But as you said, the Volunteers' offense not being as effective as they would like to be, opening their scoring for both sides with a power play goal, and after that getting another one to lead up 2-1. But since then, the beginning of the second period was when they were able to get that second goal in, and since then their offense has been a bit stagnant. Their defense, on the other hand, with the help of Shaw and the defensive men, after that second period, the beginning of this one, they've done a very good job changing the momentum even.
You know, it's hard for them to even try and find offensive opportunities when the Gamecocks have just had them on their heels, it feels like, the whole night.
A heavy offensive onslaught by the Gamecocks. The Chico there defensively for the Gamecocks, putting that up in the neutral zone. Off the skate of the Volunteer, then off the skate of Thomas. A nice pass there by Bolger. Thomas and Bolger. Thomas with a one-timer off the body of Shaw. Thomas gets it back. Bolger backing off as the Volunteers get possession, but Thomas is not backing off. Thomas fighting for possession with Bolger. 2 Volunteers and 2 Gamecocks fighting for it. Bolger slaps that one away, but the Volunteers get there first. Back up and around the glass behind Shaw, and the Volunteers are slowing this one down. 4-on-4 ice hockey for 1 minute and 10 seconds left, and just under 60 minutes in this period. A nice play by Puskar. Gets a shot off, but into the body of Shaw nonetheless. So clock stopping with 15 minutes and 55 seconds left in this game.
That was a really nice defensive move from Puskar there as he just came out, just took the puck from him straight up. As an attacker, you know, you don't see that every day, but it goes again to just show how much two-way players there are in this roster.
The Volunteers winning that face-off, but Greeley close by fighting for the puck. Puskar now, as the puck goes into the neutral zone and then all the way back to Hayes, tipped by Riccitelli. Riccitelli gets the puck from Hayes as Hayes put it behind himself. Moving up now into the neutral zone is Riccitelli. Putting it off to Puskar, the freshman. Puskar with an assist tonight as that puck goes across the face to the Volunteers, but Mulcairn there defensively now for the Gamecocks. Mulcairn behind Hayes. Mulcairn keeping it himself. Putting it up for Greeley. Poked by the Volunteers, but Greeley gets that back before it's sent into the neutral zone. Closest one there is Puskar, but nonetheless, Hayes will back off that one, so we will get an icing call with 12 seconds left on 4-on-4 and just over 15 minutes left in this third period.
Yeah, and again, just, you know, some back and forth play from both teams. Not a whole lot going on since in the last like half of the minute of the power play here.
Absolutely. Puck going up and down the ice here between Shaw and Hayes' defensive areas as the Volunteers win that face-off, but Henderson is close by. Henderson, the sophomore, winning that one for the Gamecocks, working against 2 Volunteers and not able to come out on top. Wilkins now there defensively along with Mulcairn. Sorry, that's McGowan. Smojice now coming back as well. Off the skate of Lindstad, and McGowan's able to keep that one away from Hayes. Volunteers put that one back in, but McGowan is there again to try and clear it. And Smojice taps that one into his own bench for a stoppage of play and a face-off coming in front of Hayes. We are back to 5-on-5 hockey with 4 minutes and 33 seconds left. The Gamecocks still holding on to that 3-goal lead after a 4-goal second period for them.
You're really just an even third so far. Not a whole lot going on in the goal-scoring department.
McGowan winning that face-off, getting it to Henderson, but the Volunteers having a nice attempt, a good block by Hayes. Wilkins now on the offensive. 4 Gamecocks with him, but McGowan holds back. Wilkins keeping it himself. Wilkins getting hit by a Volunteer to end up on the ice, but Henderson's there to help him out. Henderson with a long shot. Lindstad gets it, and I think that went in, and I think that's going to be a goal for the Gamecocks. And their offensive powerhouse that they have been all night pays off again, and it is now a 4-goal lead, 6-2. And that looks like Wilkins is going to get that.
Yeah, you could see it as soon as that puck got turned over. It was like just a sea of black jerseys racing down to the Volunteer goal, and it was no surprise they came out with a goal there, as they've just been dominant on offense tonight.
Absolutely using their numbers to their advantage, as Josh Wilkins, a sophomore from Kennett Square, Pennsylvania, gets one for himself tonight. 6-2 now with just over 14 minutes left. And the Gamecocks are not going to stop fighting anytime soon. Volunteers defensively trying to push the puck, and they do so all the way through the neutral zone, and that'll be an icing call. Hayes calling for it, didn't think he was going to get it, but nonetheless he does. Everyone getting involved for the Gamecocks tonight in this 6-goal affair.
Yeah, as you mentioned, 6 different goal scorers tonight. You can't ask for much more from the offensive side.
Absolutely, and a couple beautiful assists as well from everybody here tonight. Everyone's been involved one way or the other, and the Gamecocks are coasting right now. Offensive powerhouse as they are, able to show exactly why they're called that in their league tonight.
Definitely. Refs are talking something over here. A little under 14 minutes here. Volunteers face a 4-goal deficit, and that's going to be pretty difficult to inch closer.
Absolutely. The game's not over completely, but the Gamecocks have done everything in their power to try and put it away early. One thing the Gamecocks have done tonight that they're not usually the best at is their penalty kill. Of course, as we've referenced multiple times, opening up the scoring was Tennessee on a power play, but after that they have not been able to capitalize on power plays, and the Gamecocks have committed a good amount of fouls. Volunteers coming away with that one before Locken stops it with his stick. Locken through to Kay. Kay with a long shot high right of Shaw. Santoro now as well as Locken. Poking that one away are the Gamecocks, but nonetheless going into the neutral zone, Henderson being the lone defender. Off the glass and put into the Tennessee's defensive zone. Kay able to poke that one away before the Volunteers get any offensive going. Now it's Bolger. Bolger, Kay, and Locken there. Bolger with a nice pass to Kay. Kay with a shot wide right. Volunteers now on their own counterattack in a 3-2. A pass there to Carter. Carter with a shot and a glove save by Hayes, diving after that one, and a couple Volunteers ending up on the ice. A nice pass by Locken, and the Gamecocks have numbers. Locken with a nice move to keep away from the body of the Volunteers, trying to put it in front of Shaw, but not able to do so. Lindstad with a one-timer off the pad of Shaw. Still in the air and fighting between Bolger, Lindstad, and a Volunteer. Lindstad comes away with it. Lindstad with a shot off the body of Shaw. The puck once again ends up in Bolger's hands. Bolger with a long-range shot off Shaw again. And this time the Volunteers are able to put that one in the neutral zone. Up and away, Flaherty corralling that one just in front of Hayes. Sending that to Lindstad, who one-taps that so it's not icing behind Shaw. Lindstad coming with possession of the puck and a pass in front of Shaw, but not able to capitalize as that puck goes in the neutral zone for the Gamecocks. Wilkins, safe and not offsides, pushing the offensive. At the top of the zone is DeChico. DeChico tried to one-time it, but the Tennessee Volunteers come away with that interception. Now pushing the offensive is number 13, Cosentino. DeChico with a body and gets one right back from the Volunteers, but Lindstad comes away with the puck. Puskar now pushing. Lindstad with a line change. Puskar still there, now behind Shaw with the possession. Greeley has it. Greeley with a shot and a body save by Shaw. Out, but then nonetheless covers it up with his glove. And a stoppage of play here with 11 minutes and 36 seconds left in this game. The Gamecocks still lead 6-2.
And Shaw was getting peppered there for like the last couple minutes. So the Gamecocks were just firing shots, especially from distance at him, forcing him to make some good saves.
The rebounding by the Gamecocks here tonight has been very impressive, having a couple goals themselves off of that, as a long-range shot just kind of flies up in the air off the face-off by Thomas. Thomas ends up on the ground, and the puck is in the neutral zone. DeChico using his body along with his teammates. Good moves by the Volunteers, not able to get that shot off as Reed uses his body to block it. Puskar there now defensively. An attempt at a backhanded pass, but not able to get any call there. Greeley moving for the puck. Not able to get there before cleared off the glass in the neutral zone. Tennessee again with an offensive possession. but the Gamecocks are back defensively. A nice pass, but no one there for the Volunteers. Up and around behind Hayes. A nice pass, but again not able to capitalize there. The Volunteers had a couple across the face of Hayes, and it looks like that will not be an icing call as the Tennessee player gets in the way of a line change by the Gamecocks, but nonetheless both teams do get one off. Tennessee with a little ice to work. Richatelli with a nice defensive play and a big hit there by Smojice. And another hit by Smojice as the Tennessee Volunteer was not too happy about that first one. A call by the refs, and that first player for Tennessee is still down on the ice with 10 minutes and 30 seconds left. And Smojice laid down the hammer.
And yeah, that first Tennessee player that suffered a hit is definitely feeling that one, as the medical staff's going to come check him out. Hopefully all is well there. But Smojice 2 in a row just laying him out here.
The big body of Smojice. Absolutely, Smojice will serve his time, and a time well served after back-to-back hits by the big man. And he's also going to might send Richatelli into the penalty box as well. Richatelli's just talking to the ref. Not looking to spend any time with his teammate there in the box. Hayes coming up to his team's bench to see what's going on, as well as the refs are talking this one over after a bit of chippiness after the hits by Smojice.
Definitely. I'm a little surprised we didn't see a little repeat of last week with more bodies congregating after that one, because that was a massive hit from Smojice, and you could tell the Volunteer team did not react too happy to that one.
The ref's still talking this one over, talking to the Gamecocks bench as well as themselves. Looks like Smojice might just be ejected from this game. And he will be coming off the ice. A valiant effort by Smojice as the fans cheer him on. So Smojice, number 24 for the Gamecocks, is ejected, and a 5-minute power play in favor of the Volunteers here, looking to cut this lead from 4-3 with 10.5 minutes left.
Yeah, in addition to the big hits, Smojice also put in a goal today for the Gamecocks, so valiant performance from him. But now the Gamecocks have a lot of work to do on this defensive end here.
Richatelli is going to serve that 5-minute. So it's a 5-minute power play after discussion between the refs for Smojice's ejection, and a 2-minute Richatelli will serve in the box. So the Gamecocks are going to be 5-on-3 for 2 minutes and 5-on-4 for the remaining 3.
And you know, this is an opportunity the Volunteers could definitely use, as they've had some trouble scoring goals tonight when it's not come from the power play or kind of in transition. So we'll see if they can take advantage of it tonight.
Referees are still finalizing this one, and it will be a 5-on-3 here. Briefly looked like it might be a 5-on-4, but the Gamecocks are going to be down 2 men. Mulkieran, Locken, and Puskar are going to be their 3 to start off this very long penalty kill.
Still some more talking over here with the refs.
I mean, when a player does get ejected, it's going to take a while for the refs to finalize that with the PA and the scoreboard people, as well as being able to finalize the 2-minute penalty along with that 5-minute penalty, resulting in Smojice getting ejected. Smojice putting in the work tonight, of course, but nonetheless being ejected after a couple hits right in front of his goalie, Hayes, including one that left a Volunteer not exactly 100% on the ice, and it looks like he was completely okay after catching his breath. Finally starting play here again to the left of Zach Hayes comes the faceoff. The Volunteers win that one, but nonetheless, the puck starts off going into the neutral zone. Puskar there and goes off his skate. Volunteers send that one up again, and Puskar is the closest, as well as Locken working against him. Back to the top of the key goes the Volunteers, and over one more before getting it right back and passing it back and forth. Up in front, but not able to get a shot there as we're at a minute and a half left in this 5-on-3. Tennessee looking for an opening, but the Gamecocks are using their bodies to block these shots and zoning extremely well so far. Tennessee passing it around to the left of Hayes. Up and around. Tennessee still looking for a shot, moving Hayes back and forth, and a body save by Hayes will stop the clock here with a minute and 12 left on the 5-on-3, 4 minutes and 12 seconds left on the 5-on-4 afterwards, and 9 minutes and 41 seconds left in this game. The Gamecocks leading 6-2 in the third period.
And that was some of the best 5-on-3 defense you can really imagine, as there was just really no good shots, and when there finally was one, Hayes just stopped it in his tracks.
Wide left goes the shot from King for Tennessee, as Berman, Wilkins, and Henderson are the three now on to finalize this minute of 5-on-3 before getting an extra man. Off the skate of Berman, and Tennessee corrals that one. Wilkins there defensively. Now Berman trying to show a body. Volunteers moving it up and around, trying to get Hayes to move back and forth. Volunteers with a shot, wide left. Up and around goes the Volunteers with the puck. And that one goes in the neutral zone off a missed pass. Berman's there to put pressure, but we're just at 30 seconds left before this becomes a 5-on-4 for the remaining three. 9 minutes left in this game as the Volunteers are pushing through the neutral zone with pace. Volunteers looking to get one back, up and around Hayes. Back to the top of the key. Tennessee gives it off to King. King gives it off one more time. Up in front of Hayes, and the back was open but not able to capitalize. King gets it back for Tennessee. Giving it off to the right, off the skate of his teammate, and Hayes with a diving save. South Carolina now with the remaining 3 minutes at a 4-on-5. That shot from Tennessee goes wide right, and Hayes moved the goal, so the clock will stop. 2 minutes and 53 seconds left on this 5-on-4, and 8 minutes and 22 seconds left in this game.
Yeah, and that was some great defense there in the 5-on-3. You know, it's sometimes a little uncanny to hear the fans get so rowdy for great defense, but they were getting into it there as the team, 2 men down, managed to stifle the Volunteer attack.
Absolutely, in 2 lines at that, being able to do that. Very well done here, as now it's Lindstad, Santoro, DeChico, and Reed, the 4 for the Gamecocks, defending these final couple minutes of this Smoj Ice ejection power play. Up and around by Hayes. Behind Hayes goes the Volunteers. Volunteers still looking for that opening. Up in front of the face of Hayes, but not able to do anything with it. Getting it back and keeping it up to the right of Hayes. Now to the top of the key goes the Volunteers. Right back to where he got it. And then back to the top of the key. At a shot with a big body by the Gamecocks, and that one will be cleared all the way back to Shaw.
Still not much doing here for the Volunteer offense. About 2 minutes left here in the power play.
The Volunteers pushing this one once again. Putting that up and around, but Chico is able to clear that one for the Gamecocks and will once again go behind Shaw as they can get a line change off. Lindstad comes out and Wilkins comes in. Tennessee pushing once again offensively. Kay is there. A good move by the Volunteer and a good shot wide left. Cleared again by DeChico, and the Volunteers get a line change of their own. A minute and a half left on this power play for the Volunteers and just under 7 in the game. Gamecocks still up by 4. Tennessee has not been able to call back at all. List there defensively as a stoppage of play, and that'll be an offsides on the Volunteers with a minute and 21 left in their power play. Very well played defensively by South Carolina so far.
And if you're a Gamecocks fan, it's great to see the team being able to make improvements week by week. Because last week, I believe they gave up 3 power play goals to Clemson Tigers, and only giving up 1 tonight. But so far on this power play, they have been incredible on defense.
And it's not for a lack of penalties either. The last 5 minutes, will be the last 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Will be able to have the Volunteers with an extra man and still being able to keep them with only 1 power play going on the night is quite impressive, as that will be an icing on the Volunteers, and that puck will go all the way back to right in front of Shaw. to the left of Shaw goes the puck, and Greeley's on the faceoff. Flaherty with him, as well as Thomas and List. That's the 4 for this final minute of the power play so far. 6.5 minutes here as the referees are waiting a second. They're looking over at the Gamecocks bench, and the door is open to their bench. They're talking to the Tennessee player who fell down earlier and being taken care of by the Gamecocks health team is now coming back onto the ice and going to the locker room. Getting claps, and that'll be Nick Carline, who did have 2 goals last week. A big loss for the Volunteers, but nonetheless hope that he heals up quickly and is able to get back on the ice. Maybe not this game, but the next one for the Volunteers.
You know, good news, he was skating under his own power there. It's always kind of the first thing you look for when you see an injury, so definitely hope he has a speedy recovery.
Greeley winning the face-off for the Gamecocks. Thomas trying to keep it himself, but losing possession. Flaherty gets that back with a long shot to Shaw, putting it in his body and then dropping it for his team. Thomas there defensively, as well as Greeley. Put across the ice, the Volunteers have it. Thomas fighting for it and getting possession, trying to pass it to Greeley, but didn't get it there. Flaherty now keeping it in the neutral zone, making sure he doesn't go off sides. Flaherty keeping it with himself all the way back defensively, and then off the glass. A glove catch by the Volunteers. The Gamecocks now getting there is Flaherty. Flaherty up and around the glass and put that in the neutral zone all the way back to their defensive zone where Richter gets it. It went by Richter. King now has it. King with a couple moves. King looking for a pass now. Still 5-on-4 for 15 more seconds. Across Hayes' face and tapped but not going in by the Volunteers, and the goal was moved once again. 5 minutes and 42 seconds left on this game and 13 seconds left on this power play. The Gamecocks still up 6-2.
The Volunteers have done a pretty good job of getting the puck like across the face of the goal, but they just haven't really found the receiving end of it too often tonight. And if they have, Zach Hayes has been there to save it.
I've seen Hayes moving back and forth between the goalposts plenty of times tonight. Of course, that is how one of the first or second goals went in for Tennessee, being able to move him back and forth until they have that back post opening. Not being able to capitalize on that other than once or twice tonight. Cleared again by the Gamecocks, high and away. That will end this long penalty kill for the Gamecocks, and they are finally back at full strength, and what a kill it was for the Gamecocks. List clearing it one more time, and that will be icing this time as they are no longer on a penalty. Coming back all the way to Hayes' area, 5:21 left in the game.
As you mentioned, just an incredible kill from the Gamecocks. Probably the best one we've seen here at the Plex, as that one was a real long amount of time, but they did it very effectively.
Santoro there on the face-off, but the Volunteers come away with that. List fighting hard for it, however. Santoro helping out List, and now Berman helping out Santoro. Berman pushing the puck. Berman not being able to get through the 2 Volunteer defensive men. As off the glass goes the Volunteers, giving it to themselves. In the neutral zone now, but off the skate of Bolger. High in the air and corralled by Bolger. Bolger brings it into the offensive zone. Bolger keeping it. Looking for a pass and not being able to get one. He keeps it himself, however. Henderson there defensively as the Volunteers make a push of their own. Henderson helped by his teammate McGowan. McGowan gets there. 4.5 minutes now left in this game. McGowan gets that up into the defensive zone of the Volunteers before the Volunteers were able to get that possession back. Through a couple skates and through all the defensive areas of the Gamecocks goes the puck up and around for Henderson. The Volunteers get that, and they have an offensive possession. A nice move by the Volunteers to get through a defensive player, but Bolger with a nice hit against the glass on King. Henderson with the puck now. Henderson leaving it for Locken. Locken with the speed that he has. Locken with a nice move. Locken with another move. Fall it over, and that'll be a tripping call on the Volunteers. Volunteers get possession, and that delayed penalty will now be called with 3 minutes and 56 seconds left and 2 minutes of those will be a Gamecock power play.
And the Volunteer offense at full strength has just really not been impressive outside of the one goal they scored earlier. Because whenever it's full strength, they just seem to spend every moment on their back foot. Just really can't get anything doing in the attacking zone.
Absolutely, and the Gamecocks on their hand, almost everything going their way. 6 goals tonight, all by different people, and a couple of beautiful assists by various players as the Volunteers win that faceoff, but DeChico keeps it in the zone before it slides out of the neutral zone. Tennessee with it now, sending that one high and blocked by DeChico with his glove. DeChico waiting to get back on sides, now pushing the offensive. DeChico looking for a pass. Up and around behind Shaw, leaving it off for Puskar. Puskar gives it one more and a one-timer by Reed off the Volunteer player in front of him. Reed keeping it in, but now it's in the neutral zone. Reed once again the closest to it, getting possession and passing it up. Who leaves it for Puskar? Lindstad to Puskar there. Puskar keeps it. Bringing it up and around, a pass to the top of the key for DeChico. DeChico with a shot, and that'll go into the body of Shaw, stopping the clock with 3 minutes and 9 seconds left in the game and a minute and 13 left on this power play.
Yeah, and it's going to be hard for the Volunteers to do anything here. It just seems to be all Gamecocks, especially in the majority of the second and here in the third. Not much cooking for the Volunteers.
Gamecocks have not let off the gas. Of course, that big penalty in the third period leading to Smojice's ejection, able to keep the Tennessee Volunteers from scoring here, but they have a good chance now. Blocked by Reed, though, a great defensive play by Sean Reed. Lindstad passing it up. Puskar has it. Puskar with a pass across the face to Kay. Kay gets it off the glass. Kay to DeChico. Back across the ice to Puskar. Puskar gives it up to Lindstad. Lindstad back to Puskar. Puskar with a shot off the body and put it in for another goal here by the Gamecocks to end this one officially. Off the rebound, Puskar took a shot off the body of Shaw and able to capitalize on that to make it 7-2 was Kay. 2 minutes and 38 seconds left in this game.
I mean, there's just not much more you can say. You score 7 goals in a game. Just incredible offensive attack. And clearly, Volunteers just don't really have an answer for it.
Volunteers opened the scoring and got one more after the Gamecocks equalized, but since then it has been all Carolina as they win that faceoff, giving it up to Mulcairn. Mulcairn with a long shot to the right of Shaw. Thomas is there as well as Berman, but the Volunteers end up coming up with that one. Volunteers on the offensive, Riccitelli defensively. Riccitelli using his skate and able to do so successfully. Bringing up the puck now is Berman. Berman to the senior Thomas. Thomas stopping on a limb and giving it up to Wilkins. Wilkins with a spin move, and Wilkins with a shot ending up at the body of Shaw. Nice spin move by Wilkins, but Shaw stops that one in its tracks with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left.
Yeah, nice save by Shaw. You know, I feel like he still hasn't played that bad tonight. A lot of the goals I feel like have been scored just dissecting this defense, not necessarily at the fault of any specific defender or Shaw himself. Just, I mean, this Gamecocks hockey team, they're good.
Rocky Top playing again there for a second. The PA not showing any mercy to the Volunteers. But as you said, Shaw has played quite well, letting alone 7 goals getting in there, but nonetheless it could be plenty more had he not made some of the saves he's made tonight, and good ones those were.
Definitely, and someone's going to the box here for the Gamecocks.
Josh Wilkins, who has a goal for himself tonight, the sophomore from Pennsylvania, going to the box for the last 2 minutes here of this game. 1 minute and 58 to be exact, as this face-off will come to the right of Hayes. Gamecock's been good on the penalty kill ever since letting that first goal in for the Volunteers, something they have been able to struggle with, or they have been struggling with for a couple weeks now, being far more solidified tonight defensively.
Definitely, and it has looked really well, really good for them on the kill so far tonight, and we'll see if they keep it up here, as you know, this power play will take us to the end of the game.
Refs are holding play here for a second as the Gamecocks are checking on another Volunteer player
I believe it was number 4, Euban Weeks there.
Checking on him as we start play here. The Volunteers winning that face-off. Volunteers at the top of the key, giving it off to King. King pushing it back to the top of the key before giving it one more to the left. Back key. King gets it again. Poked away by Lockett. King gets it back. High stick there by Kay, but safe. A long shot there as that goes behind Shaw for no icing. Volunteers getting that one as we just go under a minute and a half left in this game. Tennessee pushing the offensive, putting it up and around Hayes. Richatelli there defensively now with Mulkieran. Pinning it up against the glass as 3 Volunteers fight for it. Richatelli ends up on the ground, and the Volunteers end up with the puck. A one-time pass and a one-time shot by King. A good save there by Hayes. Quick reflexes by him. The only one up there for the Gamecocks is Lockin as Shaw stops that one. A long pass there off the stick of King and behind Hayes. Henderson has that one, and he will clear that, going all the way through back to Shaw as these pucks are going back and forth behind the goalies of Shaw and Hayes.
And Hayes, even though the Volunteers have clearly been trying to move him around in the goal, passing the puck from side to side, he really hasn't been too fazed by it at all.
Locking with a backwards pass to McGowan, but the Volunteers get it off of McGowan's attempt to clear. A body block by Hayes again, but the Volunteers keep it in the zone with 23, now 22 seconds left in this game. A stick poke there by Henderson. Henderson with a body against the glass. Now McGowan out there. The Volunteers with a shot high, wide, and away, and out of play for a stoppage of play here with 12.4 seconds left. These last couple minutes have been 5-on-4, but the Gamecocks have still gotten a couple shots off offensively.
Definitely, with only 12.4 seconds here left in the game, we'll see if the Volunteers can manage to attack 1 to their goal total tonight, but not looking likely with the way this Gamecock defense has just clamped them up the last 2 periods.
A solid defensive effort and to round out this game. Lindstad is out there with McGowan and Berman and Henderson. That is E4 for these last 6 to 5 seconds or so as they're attempting to just not let Tennessee have one last shot, and they won't. And what a game from the Carolina Gamecocks, taking down the Tennessee Volunteers 7-2. An offensive onslaught by this team who now moves to 12-1.
Definitely a real masterpiece on offense here from the Gamecocks. Just all around 7 different goal scorers. Tommy, who would you say is your player of the game tonight?
I'm gonna split it here. I'm gonna go offensive and defensive, and I think offensive here, Greeley solely for that assist. Being able to make that opportunity behind the back for his teammate was a fantastic job. Moving defensively here, I think I'm gonna have to go with Zach Hayes. Seeing him lay out for saves like that is extremely impressive, and not only that, but he only let 2 of those in, especially on the Volunteers penalty kills, or the Gamecocks penalty kills. He did a very good job being a man down.
Definitely can't say much else than that. Just an all-around great performance tonight.
Absolutely, and as these teams shake hands, we will say good night to everyone listening from the Plex. I am Tommy Cooper here with Spencer Ball, and we will see you next time.